Happy Thursday, everybody. It is Ben Thomas with Ep.9 of the Full Gongshow podcast. Now, it has been a while. I feel like each episode I keep saying that it has been a while, but it has been. We haven't done this for this is probably, 2 weeks now. Not that I didn't want to do it. I just didn't have the time. I was in a singing and dancing competition here at school representing my fraternity. Yes, you heard that correct. And I've been doing job applications, job interviews, just an insanely packed schedule. Had a lot of fun, though. It was a great time. My parents were in town here in college for the weekend. Had a blast. Got to do my live TV show for them, everything like that. So it's been a lot of fun so far. But we're getting back to normal here. My schedule should be normal. And we should be bumping out these podcasts pretty normal. I know usually it's Wednesdays. Today it's Thursday. But for the most part, it should be back to normal. At least I'm going to try. That's the hope. I don't know if I'll be able to do it, but we'll see. I guess we'll find out. So let's dive right into it, though. So first thing on the agenda here is we're going to recap the games from this week. Just go through the schedule, what the scores were, and maybe chat a little bit about them, but probably nothing too crazy. So Sunday, we had a full slate of action. We had Washington taking down Boston 4-2, Pittsburgh taking down Nashville 3-2, Minnesota dismantling Los Angeles 6-3, Tampa Bay shutout Buffalo 5-0. Brian Elliott picked up the shutout. Now Vasilevsky, Brian Elliott did. So good to see the backup contribute there. Carolina beat Anaheim 5-2. I'm pretty sure Jordan Staal had a hat trick in that game, and they posted a stat that the last time he had a hat trick was like 2011 or something like that, 2010, 2009, like years ago. Jordan Stahl's been in the league for forever, but years ago, literally Seth Jarvis, who's on the team now, said the last time there was a hat trick by Jordan Stahl, he was 8 years old. That probably is weird for Jordan Stahl, but I thought it was real funny. Dallas took down Chicago 6-4. Winnipeg beat Ottawa 4-3. And that was Sunday's games. Moving on to Monday, only one game Monday, and Winnipeg was right back in action on the road. 4-2, though. They won back-to-back in back-to-back games over Montreal. Moving to Tuesday, literally, I think every other team was playing that wasn't Winnipeg or Montreal. St. Louis beat Boston 4-2. Torrey Krug, it was his birthday and his first time back in Boston, and he scored. So awesome moment for him. Buffalo defeated Toronto 5-2. They're looking good. We're going to talk about a specific player from them in a little bit. Florida took down Anaheim 3-2 in overtime. Carolina defeated the Rangers 4-2. Chris Kreider got his 50th goal of the year. I never thought Chris Kreider was that big of a goal scorer, but apparently I've been wrong. These last couple seasons, he has been lighting it up. And now this year, eclipsed the 50 mark. So congrats to him there. Washington defeated Philly 9-2. That's basically how Philly's year is going. The Islanders took down Pittsburgh 5-4 to shootout. Ottawa defeated Detroit 4-1. Minnesota took down Edmonton 5-1. Nashville with a 1-0 shutout against San Jose in overtime, excuse me. The Kings took down the Hawks 5-2. The Hawks I don't even want to talk about it. Not even worth it. Calgary defeated Seattle 5-3. Calgary, Johnny Gaudreau, 100-point mark. Is Johnny Hockey back? That might be something we will discuss on a different episode, but we will talk about a specific rookie on Seattle. But is Johnny Hockey back? I want y'all to think about that. If you want to leave that a comment on the YouTube video, please do. I'd love to hear what you guys think about that, because he's had a couple down years as of late, and now he's clipping the 100-point mark. So it's looking good. Dallas with the 1-0 shutout on Tampa Bay. Scott Wedgwood with the shutouts. Defeating Vasilevsky, too. What the heck? Vancouver taking down Vegas 5-4 in overtime. Vegas needs these wins, and they aren't getting them. And then finally, every time I do this pod, I start yawning. I freaking hate it. But back to the games. New Jersey defeated Arizona 6-2. Going to Wednesday, 3 games. 4-0 shutout win for the Rangers over Philly. 5-1 win for Columbus over Montreal. They had 2 guys debut, 2 rookies Columbus did. We're going to talk about one. No, actually, we don't talk about one of them. Never mind. Well, Blankenberg and Kent Johnson both were Michigan guys. they made their debuts. Blankenberg actually got his first career point on an assist. And Ken Johnson was playing 39 minutes, but total of, I think I saw a stat, I think a total of 5 Michigan players have debuted this week. Literally got eliminated. Owen Powers, Maddie Beniers, Kent Johnson, Blankenberg. I want to say there was one more. I could be wrong, but I want to say there was one more. If not, there was 4. And then finally on Wednesday, Colorado defeated the Kings 9-3, classic Colorado fashion. But basically, everybody's in action today. You're definitely going to want to tune in. I'm tuning into the Hawks game, obviously, because it is Pat Foley's final game. I didn't think I was going to talk about it, but I'm going to talk about it real fast, actually. If you don't know who he is, Pat Foley's been the voice of the Blackhawks for over 4 years now. As long as I can remember, if it was not a nationally televised game, I was listening to Pat Foley. To get into this business and into the media and I do play-by-play for the OU hockey team. Pat Foley has been an inspiration to me for years. I still can hear his goal calls or his Crawford with the save or anything. I can hear his voice in my head doing it. Like the amount of goal calls, big saves, Hawks wins. It's truly so sad and total end of an era for the Hawks. I mean, just so much of this era is going away, and it's sad to see. But Pat Foley was the man. There's not much else I can really say about it except for that, because he truly was the man. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing in this world if it wasn't for him. He's been one of my inspirations, one of my idols. And I'm not even a play-by-play guy, but just that fun persona, the storytelling aspect is something I've always looked up to. I know he'll probably never see this. He does go to the church in my hometown because he's a local guy. But if I could, the only thing I would ever say to him would straight up just be thank you. That would be the only thing I'd say to him. It's just thank you. I wouldn't ask for advice. I wouldn't ask for help for getting a job. I would just genuinely want to just give him a hug and say thank you, because that's how big of an impact he's had. All right, moving on from that. Congratulations to you, Pat Foley. Kind of what I decided was I was just going to recap some of the games and then dive into some storylines that I think are some storylines that we want to discuss. I don't know how long I'll take. I could take 10 minutes on each of these. I could take 2 minutes. I could take 20 minutes. I don't know. We'll just see. But the first storyline I want to talk about is the Panthers. Well, they were winners of eight straight. I don't know if that has changed, but nevertheless, the Florida Panthers sit 2 points behind Colorado. They're the only 2 teams in contention for this President's Trophy. I mean, Colorado's 112, Panthers are 110. Carolina's at 3rd. God, I'm yawning again. With 104. There's still about 10 games left, about 8 games left. So a lot can happen, but this Florida team is insane. I don't know how they built such a juggernaut, but my main thing is their goals for per game leads the NHL at over 4 goals a game. They're scoring 4 goals a game on average. The next team is at Colorado at 3.8, and Florida's at 4.1. Like, this team is just absolutely tearing it up. And then it's not like, oh, man, they must be putting the puck in the net. They're not getting saves. No. Do they obviously have the best goals against average in the league? No. They're 13, but it's still under 3 goals a game. It's at 2.9. That's about a 2-goal difference right there. So they're definitely doing it. Their power play is 6th in the league. Their penalty kill is 17th in the league. Okay, so maybe not the best, but they're a pretty disciplined team. They're really not giving up a whole lot. My whole thing is just this team is just purely running away with it. And it's kind of exciting to see, though, just because, like, you wouldn't expect Florida to be good. Florida's just never really been good. And now to see them doing what they're doing and just absolutely tearing it up and just dismantling teams, like, you got to give them props. You got to give them credit, especially in being in a state where Tampa Bay's been running the show the last 2 years. They're making Tampa Bay look like a joke right now. I mean, Tampa Bay, granted, is a top 6, top 7 team in the league in terms of points, and they're probably one of the best teams just in general. But with that being said, Florida is making them look real mean. So I would love to see a Florida Tampa Bay matchup in the playoffs. It's going to be so freaking fun. So I want that personally. But nevertheless, keep an eye out on Florida. I'm interested to see what they do in the playoffs, though. I'm interested to see if this will hold up. Do I think they're going to get to the Cup final? No. But could they? Probably. I would say probably. I would put good odds on it. So that was that. Moving to the next storyline. Speaking of young guns, there were a bunch of youngins who started playing in the league this week. And I'm just going to go through. I'm going to highlight about 3 of them. And I'm just going to talk about it. First one, homebody, Chicago Blackhawks, first-round pick, Lucas Reichel. So, smooth skater, great hands, has the ability to put the puck in the net. He is a point-per-game player in the AHL. This is his first year over in North America. He played in the German league. He is 19. He is a point-per-game player in the AHL. But in the NHL, he's played 8 games. He's -5 and has no points. That does not say he's not doing well. He has had 2 shots on goal basically every game he's played in. And he's played like basically about 15 minutes a game. And at one point, he was on a line with Kane and DeBrincat. So he's getting a ton of shifts. He's getting a lot of opportunity. I know they're mainly doing this just to like give him the reps. But I'd like to see him put the puck in the net, personally. He can. He has had chances. He's hit the post. Goalies made saves. Like, it's not saying this kid looks totally lost out there. The kid looks good. He looks like he can just play. He'll make the roster next year. He's going to play a full year next year, easily. But I hope by the end of the year, this kid puts the puck in the net at least once. And I bet he's frustrated. I bet he wants to do that. But this kid's got a bright future. I really believe so. I really think he will. His face-off percentage is about 33%. He's like 1 of 3, basically. 14 total shots in 8 games. He's been playing power play time. They're giving him the opportunity. They're giving him the chance, and he's looked good. Like, he has looked good. I would go watch some of his games. Like, he's not going to wow you. He's not blowing you away. But has he looked like totally lost and that he shouldn't be out there? No. By any means, no. I've actually been pleasantly surprised by it. So, next person I want to talk about is he just made his NHL debut. First overall pick from 2021, Owen Powers, one of the Michigan guys. He's played 1 game and was a +2. Maybe Buffalo is going to get something here. So he played 28 shifts, was on ice for 19 minutes in his very first game. And this was against Toronto, high-power, goal-scoring Toronto. And he looked good. He just looked calm, cool, collected, and just was ready to rock. Like, that's all you can ask from a young kid in his first game, especially against a team like Toronto. Your 1 and 2 left-handed shot defensemen are now Owen Power, and Rasmus Dahlin, with Joka Harju and they traded Rasmus Ristolainen. I don't even know who they have, but you have those 3. Let's just throw that out there. They have those 3. I can be blanking on somebody. You can blame me on it, but they have those 3. With that core of forwards that have been playing pretty well this year, Tage Thompson, Dylan Cousins, etc., Buffalo finally has some pieces. I'm interested to see what they do with these pieces because they've never been able to do anything with their pieces, but they have some really talented players. Owen Power is going to be good. This man, I think, could be a number 1 guy, giving you 50, 60 points in a season and is just captaining your power play kind of guy. Granted, one game, but he was dang good in college. He was the number 1 overall pick for a reason. And one game with Buffalo. It's not like he was a +2 on like Toronto or Tampa or Florida. This was Buffalo against Toronto and all of that offense. Matthews, everybody. We're going to talk about Matthews in a little bit. Matthews, Marner, all these guys. He was still a +2, playing 20 minutes of the game. That's impressive. To me, that's impressive. And that's another person people need to keep an eye out for, because it's rare that guys can step in and play 20 minutes in their first game and get you a +2, especially on Buffalo. So last guy we're going to talk about here is his teammate, and that is Maddie Beniers. He was on the U.S. Olympic team. He was the 2nd overall pick, right behind Owen Power, and he was the first ever draft pick, first ever rookie lap, everything for the Seattle Kraken. His first game, 1 assist, 1 point. He was able to get that first assist. Usually you want to get that off your back. You still have the goal monkey on your back, but you at least got a point. This guy will become their number 1 guy, number 1 center, I think, in no time. He had 1 shot on goal, 22 shifts, 17 minutes of ice time against Calgary with an assist. I think he finishes the year with Seattle. I think then he becomes their 3rd-line centerman next year, and they're going to work his way up to being their first-line guy. They got some pieces. They still got, Jared McCann and a couple other guys. But this is your future. Here's Seattle's future sitting right here. And if he can continue to get points while he's playing in these last few remaining games, I would be stunned if he didn't make the roster right out of camp next year. So there's been a bunch of guys coming up. Bobby Brinks played a little bit. Like I said, Kent Johnson, another guy. It's been a ton of young guys I can go on and on about. But those are like the main 3 I want to highlight, because I think those 3 are going to be some big-time players soon, very soon. So next thing I want to talk about, Austin Matthews. You're just talking Toronto. Austin Matthews. That's what I want to talk about. He is leading the league with 58 goals. Second, Draisaitl at 51, and third, Kreider with 50. I think the Rocket's his. All right? I think the Rocket is Matthews, no cap. Does he hit 60? He's got about 10 games left. I genuinely will say I think he will. I would be stunned that in like 7 or 8 games, Matthews does not get 2 goals. If he's at 58 in a 70-something game span, you would probably assume he's going to get at least 1, at least 2. I think he hits 60. Does he hit 65? No. So I think he ends at about 61, maybe 62 goals. That's about, 4 more in 7 to 8 games. You get about 1 every 2 games. Sounds about right. It will be a very impressive feat. I don't think we've seen that. I don't even recall the last time I saw 60 goals in a season. I want to say it was Ovi, but I don't know. So the question I want to ask, and like I said, throw it in the comments on the YouTube side. If you're listening to the audio side, DM me. I don't know. Twitter message me. I don't care. Do you think Matthews now has overtaken Ovechkin as the best goal scorer in the league? Because personally, my heart's still set on Ovechkin, because Ovechkin is 30-something years old. He's still at 46 goals and probably going to hit 50 and is going to catch Wayne Gretzky's record, I believe. I'm a full believer of it. So that's what I'm saying is, like, while Matthews these last couple of years have been probably the best, like, pure just sniper in the league, is Ovechkin still holding that title? Or is it time to just pass it along Matthews and be like, well, Ovechkin's number 2 easily? But I still want to say it's Ovechkin, and Matthews is number 2 to me. Just, I feel like Ovi hasn't done anything to not lose that title. If he only gets like 20 goals in a year and Matthews is putting up 60, I'd be like, okay. But Ovi's at 50. Like, he's still doing it. So I don't know. Like I said, leave a comment, DM me if you have anything like that. I would like to hear what people have to think about that, because I think he hit 60. I don't think he hits 65. I don't think he hits 70. And I firmly believe Ovechkin is still the best pure goal scorer in the league. So last little note here, last little storyline before I wrap up the show. Point races. Obviously, we got to talk about point races and awards. Sorry. He's there on this list, but he's far. Connor McDavid leads the entire league in points, 108. Jonathan Huberdeau is at 105, Draisaitl 102, and Johnny Gaudreau at 101. McDavid will probably finish it first. Like, he is just going to. I don't think he wins MVP, though. Just because you have 108 points and you lead the league in points, I don't think that means you win MVP. For me, it's Jonathan Huberdeau. This man is at 105 points. 77 of those are assists. I just want to throw that out there. 77 of his 105 points are assists. He's at 77 assists. The next guy in second place for assists is Roman Josi at 68. He has almost 10 more assists than the second place guy. And he's only 3 points behind McDavid. If he is behind McDavid in points by like 2-3 points, yeah, you kind of got to get it to. You got to give it to him. Because McDavid's only at 66 assists. Huberdeau's at 77. McDavid, granted, is at 42 goals. Huberdeau's at like 30-something goals. So, like, and like if you take Huberdeau off of the Florida Panthers, are the Florida Panthers really that good still? They still have Sasha Barkov, but like, are they that good? Granted, if you take McDavid off of Edmonton, are they anything? Probably not. But I think MVP is Huberdeau. I think that's going to be a great debate too. Rocket to Matthews. Goalies. Or no, defenseman. Actually, I want to go to defenseman first. I think the Norris is locked for Roman Josi. There's so many people who's like, no, it's Cale Makar. Roman Josi has 87 points. Like, I think he'll hit 90. And again, it's another guy where I'm sitting there, I'm like, I can't recall the last time. I vividly remember a defenseman hitting 90 points. Like, to me, a defenseman's always hovering around 60, 70 points if you're like a Norris guy. Like, but here, this is a prime example of it. Victor Hedman, any other year would win the Norris. He's at 68 points. Roman Josi, 87. Cale Makar, 81. If you took those two out, Hedman at 68, Fox at 67, Carlson at 64. That seems normal. That is normal. These two, Josi and Makar, like, are just on a whole nother stratosphere right now in terms of points. Like, Josi at 87, Makar at 81, and then there's that huge drop-off. That would be like a normal drop-off. So I think the Norris goes to Josi just off points, pure points. But can Makar catch him? There's a lot of time. So we'll see. Next one before I go to Vezina, rookies, obviously, the Calder. Michael Bunting from Toronto right now is at 57 points. Zegras at 55, Lucas Raymond at 55, and Moritz Seider at 46. I think the finalists will just be Bunting, Zegras, Raymond. I think Seider will be a Norris Trophy contender in 3-4 years, 5 years maybe. I don't want to give it to Bunting. I think it's Trevor Zegras. Not for the flashiness, not for the Michigans. Michael Bunting has played on a line with Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner for basically all of the season. If you take him off that line, does he have 57 points and leads the rookies in points? To me, this is like the Blackhawks effect. You play alongside Patrick Kane, Patrick Kane's going to make you look good. You go somewhere else, you're not going to look that good. The only exception has been Artemi Panarin. Only exception. But more often than not, especially during like the cup runs, it took Teuvo Teravainen a while before he got good again in Carolina. He didn't immediately make a huge impact when he got traded there. But he got put on line with Sebastian Aho, and then Svechnikov came. He had the pieces, and now he's tearing it up. Brian Bickle fell off. Well, that's Brian Bickle. That 2010 year, Andrew Ladd and all those guys traded to Winnipeg. They all fell off. Like, you play on a Hawks, you play on a high-powered team, and this is how I relate it. This is how I utilize it. You play alongside Taves, Sharp, Hossa, Kane. You're going to get points. You're going to put up points. But when you are taken out of that equation, and now you got to do the work, does the point still happen? That's why I don't want to give it to Bunting. Because I'm like, if you take him off that line, Because Trevor Zegras, who's he playing alongside with? Troy Terry, guys who are about 40, 50 point guys. Matthews has 57 points. Let's look at the assists. 37 assists. Matthews has basically 60 goals. You don't think, like, if Matthews had 40 goals, this dude would only probably have like 20 assists. Like, that's what I'm saying. Is like, when I look at it, it's more of like, okay, it's not just points. Who are you playing with? Zegers, yeah, getting power play time, playing top minutes. But Anaheim is not good. Anaheim is not good. He's not playing alongside Mitch Marner and Austin Matthews, who are two of the best players in the league. No, there's a difference there. I want you guys to think about that, though. Like, think about that. If you disagree with me, that's fine. If you're like, no, what are you talking about? That doesn't, like, just because he's playing alongside them doesn't matter. That's fine. Think about that for a second, though. Think about guys from your team that you have sat there and said, wow, this guy's so good. Then he signs a deal or gets traded elsewhere, and you're like, I wonder what happened to that guy. It's kind of like, oh, that's why I think the Hawks won the Brandon Hagel deal. Because Brandon Hagel, is he going to do the same things he was doing in Chicago, playing alongside Taves and Kane? Or is he going to go to Tampa, play on this third line? I haven't heard a whole lot about him since he got traded. So that's what I'm saying. And the Hawks got 2 first-round picks out of it. See my point now? Just think about it. Vezina, my Vezina, Igor Shesterkin. He leads in save percentage. Markstrom leads in shutouts. I think the finalists are going to be Freddie Anderson, Igor Shesterkin, and Markstrom. And honestly, you can basically say it's a toss-up. But I like Igor Shesterkin. I think he's been he at one point was literally could have been a like MVP candidate, basically. What he was doing for the Rangers. He was doing a lot for them in terms of them getting to the playoffs. He's been their backbone this year. He's been so good for him. So that's my pick for that. But like I said, there's still about 7-8 games left in the season. A lot of teams are around the 73, 74 game mark out of 82. And it'll be an interesting way to come down. Sunday, obviously, we will talk about more games. I'll pick up a couple more storylines from the weekend. And we'll talk about it. Maybe we'll talk about more. We'll give an update on the points and everything like that, see how teams are doing and players are doing. And, yeah, that's that. So I'm back. I hope you enjoyed this episode 9 of Full Gongshow. I know I did. It was kind of fun chatting about this stuff and giving my opinion. But like I said, if you got any opinions on anything, definitely leave a comment on the video or shoot me a DM on something and let me know what you're thinking. I'd love to hear feedback, probably share some of that feedback and have a little debate about it. And I like your debate. Maybe I'll even have you on here. Who knows? But that is all I got for today. I really don't know how long this is, but who cares? So I will talk to you all on Sunday. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Full Gongshow. Ben Thomas here. I hope you guys have a great weekend. And like I said, I will talk to you all on Sunday. Peace.